Hello and welcome everybody to Itheum's Tech Town Hall. So this is the town hall where we specifically talk about tech and product updates that relate to the Itheum's roadmap as well as our deliverables. So great to be here. My name is Mark Paul. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done one of these town halls, so really excited to share with you the progress, mainly around our deliverables. We've been working very hard against our roadmap deliverables, working towards our Elron mainnet release, as well as all the other really cool stuff that we've got in the works. So we got a lot to cover today. We're going to start by going over an updated roadmap that we have. And I'm going to really take you through the key things that we have delivered, what we're working on right now, and some really cool stuff that's coming up in the next few months as well. After this, we're going to jump straight into some live demos of the technology that we have already delivered, namely around the Gamer Passport as well as the Elron mainnet release of the Claims Portal. So we can do some live demos there. We're going to talk a bit about the security of our first mainnet release. We're going to talk about our community testing program, our alpha OGs who have been really helping us ramp up our software. And then we're going to end with a little bit more roadmap around what's coming up in September, October, November, and then early into 2023. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and then we're going to jump straight into it. So let me just share my screen. Let's confirm that this works. Yes, I think we're good. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is our roadmap updates. So our roadmap is fully public. If you go to itheum.io/roadmap, you'll be taken to this page here, which is basically kept up to date with all our deliverables, what we're working on now, what we've delivered, and what we're working on next. And I want to firstly spend a bit of time to take you through how you can actually get the most by keeping up to date with the roadmap, right? So the key things to note here is the roadmap is delivered, is broken off by quarter-based delivery. So Q1 2022, Q1 2022, Q2 2022, Q3, and then going to Q4 and so on. So at the moment, we're in this green item here, which is the July-September. In fact, today is the 1st of September, so it's the last day of this quarter. We'll be moving into Q4 next. And each item here is a very high-level deliverable that we have. It doesn't have all the specifics. All the specifics, we internally track it, but you can kind of see what we have delivered here in this example here. It was to take the Itheum token onto the mainnet, and if you click on it, you get a bit more information. You can also then view a little bit more metadata on this as well. Let's actually look at this one here. So if you look at this, it's called the pre-alpha Gamer Passport release. It was slated for a Q2 2022 release. It's a consumer product. In other words, it's something that a consumer is going to use that's built on top of Itheum. So think of it as an app that's built on Itheum. It's part of our DataCat. And if you'll notice that we've effectively have DataCat, DataDex, and Data Metaverse, which are the three core groups of products Itheum's got. And it talks about this product phase, right? This is very important. This is something we follow internally to ensure that all our ideas follow a structured path into reaching a mainnet delivery. So that's what I want to talk to you a bit about now. So up here, you can see that, if a certain item is completed, you'll see a green check mark. So you'll notice that we've actually delivered all stuff on Q1 2022. Q2 2022 has been delivered as well. And in Q3, we've delivered 2. The third one, the only thing pending is our mainnet release of the Claims Portal in the DataDex. The second thing to notice is that certain items would have this thing like P1 and P2. What that basically means is that it spans multiple quarters, right? So in this case, if you look at a decentralized identity and reputation system, this is a part 1, and the part 2 is delivered in a secondary quarter. So that could be a part 3 as well. And then you'll see, if that's the case, you'll see another ticket called P3. So just how you read that part. Next, very importantly, is our product development lifecycle. So this is detailed in our white paper, but we follow this with every piece of work that we do. When we get an idea internally or from the community, it enters a sort of a research lab stage. Then we move it to detailed design and prototyping, where we're basically assessing this idea and we are building it, right? We're doing some proof of concepts, some MVPs, minimum viable products, bringing it to a point where we're comfortable to proceed. Then we move into a development stage where it's actually being developed in the test nets. So if it's an Elrond, we're in the test net. If it's in EVM blockchains, we're on dev nets. So this is where we iterate. So we're always iterating between these two stages. When we are quite comfortable about what we have, is we go into a security audit stage. So and then these at certain points, all three of these phases could overlap because we are still prototyping and designing, we're developing, we're testing, and we're auditing. And we keep looping this until we get to a point where our security audit is robust. We're very happy with it. Then we'll make it live on mainnet. So as an example, with the claims portal, we're currently in this phase here, which is the security audits phase. You'll notice that development's complete and we're going through security audits. As soon as we take it out of security audits and we're comfortable in the level of security that we have, it's just a switch onto mainnet. So this is something you will notice, and you'll notice that every item on a roadmap, the last part would always indicate what phase it's in, right? So that's how you read this in. Now that's how you read the roadmap. So let's actually now talk about the last quarter as well as this quarter. So in Q2 2022, we actually worked on the pre-alpha Gamer Passport. We spoke about this in the previous town hall, but this was when we actually were working with the first game, which was Wonder Hero, which is runs off the Polygon and the BSC blockchains. So we had actually partnered with them. We have a very good working relationship with them. So that was the first game, and this was effectively delivered. The next thing we had worked on was the claims portal. So this is when we had the idea of the claims portal. How do we build a tool within the DataDex where we can distribute your rewards, your token rewards, your community testing rewards. We can even distribute the data trading fees that you would eventually earn once the data is being traded. So it was like a very important component that we had designed, and we actually pushed this off to a bunch of test nets. We had it in a bunch of EVM test nets, and we also had it on the Elrond DevNet, and we took it into testing. So that was also delivered. Starting this quarter, we had effectively 3 items that we were focusing on. The first item was, again, moving the Gamer Passport from pre-alpha to alpha. And what that meant was we were happy with how we were working with one game, which was Wonder Hero. We wanted to scale it out. So we added 2 more games. So we added Cyball, and we added the first Elrond-based game, which was Knights of Carthena. So we've got these 3 games actively being supported as part of the Gamer Passport. And we also scaled out the amount of gamers we took in, right? So we have 100 gamer whitelists. We've already filled close to about 60 to 70% of that, with the remainder also pretty much filled. We're just finalizing the guilds that are going to be providing these gamers. But still, it's not too late. If you are an active gamer in any of these 3 games, Wonder Hero, Cyball, or Knights of Carthena, you got to join it. It's really cool. We're going to give you a demo of what it looks like and be one of the first to use Itheum's gaming data technology. So that was that specific part. The next we actually worked on was an upgrade to something we already had within the DataDex. So in the DataDex, we have the concept of a data NFT. Data NFT is, simply put, it's a way you license usage of your data. And we had actually built the proof of concept. It was fully working. You can actually try it out in DataDex. But we were utilizing a open source library to do the unique images that were being generated. So every time you put up a data set for trade on the DataDex, we use the data signature to generate a unique NFT. And that was using a generative art layer. So we were using an open source layer. We always knew that we would want to build our own at some point because we wanted to align it to our branding. So Data NFT V2 was effectively a new layer that we built that does generative art. And we've actually delivered that as well. I'm going to give you a demo today. Finally, the mainnet Elrond claims portal. Again, this was what was in DevNet, but this was the process of taking it through security audits, taking it through community testing, fixing it, making it more robust, and getting it ready for the mainnet release. So I'll be giving you a demo of this as well today. So that's what's happening in this quarter. What's coming up in the next quarter and the quarter after that, I'm going to actually cover towards the end of this town hall. Some really interesting stuff. I think if you can just see what's coming up. So stay tuned. I'll be talking about this at the end of this town hall. So now I'm going to go into some demos. So let's look at, I'll first cover a demo of our Gamer Passport Alpha, the stage we're at with that. I'll then do a demo of the Data NFT generative art layer. And then I will do a demo of the claims portal, and we'll talk about the security phase and what's next with the mainnet release of it. So the first thing is the Gamer Passport alpha version, right? So as I said, we have the alpha version that's already monitoring gamers across 3 games: Wonder Hero, Cyball, and Knights of Katina. And this is an example of the data that's been collected. Now, the first step that Itheum does is it has the ability to collect on-chain and off-chain data in a structured way over a period of time, and then effectively let the gamer come in and take ownership of that and attach a license to it, in this case the Data NFT license, and then lets them trade it and earn by trading their gaming data to games and guilds and anybody else who's interested to know more about this gamer. Now, what you're seeing here is just one gamer. So we have an off-chain adapter, which is our Discord adapter, which has been one of our most robust data adapters. It's basically collecting this specific gamer's interaction within the Discord, right? So we can see they are progressively becoming more and more engaged in their Discord. They're supporting people. At this point, maybe they're not so much progressing. Maybe they're not interacting as much. They're not streaming as much. So how we calculate this score is by looking holistically at what this specific gamer is doing within their Discord. We also have the ability to track multiple Discords as well. And we see, we roll that up and we create a centralized score. So that's an off-chain adapter. This, if you notice here, there's quite a lot of data here, but this is an on-chain EVM adapter that's specifically fine-tuned to monitor Wonder Hero and Cyball. So if this gamer is doing anything on this game that's leaving an on-chain data footprint across any EVM chain, we're able to pick that up. And we know exactly what they did at a specific time, whether they earned something from the game, whether they spent something for the game, whether they got an airdrop of NFTs, whether they merged NFTs, whether they burnt NFTs. We effectively can capture all of this information. And what we're showing you here is like the raw data view. There's going to be really cool insights that are applied on top of this, which we're working on. So you're looking at the raw form of the data. So you'll notice, as an example, this gamer on one specific day did a whole bunch of things. Like on July 6th, this gamer has been very active across multiple chains, across multiple games. So this gives you almost an immediate view that this is a very active gamer. The next thing we're doing is, this is a on-chain adapter for Elrond. So we can do pretty much the same thing that we do on EVM chains, we can do on Elrond. So any game that's been built on Elrond, we can plug and play, monitor whatever's happening. So in this case, again, we know what the gamer's earning through the game, how they're spending it, how they're interacting with the NFTs they're getting, how they're merging, how they're burning. Everything you need to know about the gamer's on-chain data footprint, we're able to capture it. And finally, this is an example of an off-chain adapter. So we have a very good relationship with Wonder Hero, and Wonder Hero has actually given us a private API where we can monitor the gamer's PvP performance daily. So this is also kind of tracking all of that. Now, one thing I want to show you, highlight first, is that this view is the raw data view. So this is not what it's going to look like in the end. In the end, you're going to see insights. And what I mean by this is you can see things like, okay, on a specific date, like maybe on 6th, 7th, we know that this gamer was super active on chain. Like on that date, what did they do on Discord? Were they also active on Discord? Or on that time period, were they actually active on Elrond as well? So we're able to create this sort of data correlations, which is really valuable stuff, right? And finally, like I said, this is one gamer. We're actually doing the same thing for our 100 gamers. And this is our alpha, right? And once it comes out of alpha, it's fully open to the public. So, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 gamers. The kind of data that we're collecting is so valuable because it's looking at how a gamer is interacting on a day-to-day basis, and we can roll all this up into a bulk data set. And this is where the data coalitions come into play, because once we have multiple gamers collecting similar type of data, we roll that up into a bulk data set, and we sell a single license, and then the gamers earn through the distribution of the earnings from this data set. So that's the first demo that I wanted to give you. The next thing we're going to talk about, so that's that one there. We're going to look at the generative art layer. So if you have already used our data decks on that's been deployed, you would have, and you actually had minted data NFTs, you would have seen this sort of funky robots that were generated. Every time you put up a data set for sale, it generates a unique robot for you. We really liked the robots, but it was really not, it didn't align with our branding. And we wanted to rebuild this sort of generative art layer that's more aligned to Itheum's branding. Itheum's branding is around the metaverse and creating this sort of view that we're going to eventually be in this hyper personalized virtual world. So we wanted to rebuild an art layer based on that. So I'm going to give you a live demo of this. So I'm just going to log in via EVM. So the data NFT feature has still not been deployed to Elrond. It's currently available in multiple testnets on EVM. So I'm actually currently connected to Binance Smart Chain's testnet. And you'll notice that if I go into the data NFT marketplace, you would see already that it is going to show the new generative art layer that we have built. So if you notice it here, every image here is an absolute unique image that's based on the signature of the data. And it aligns with more of what we're trying to do, which is getting people into the metaverse using Web3 technology. So think of it as something that you would see within a metaverse world. So this is our new generative layer. So you can notice this is pretty much all the data NFTs people have been playing around with in Itheum's testnets. These are all actual data NFTs that people have minted. And you can even see whatever you mint. So this is basically my data NFT wallet where I've minted some data sets, and I'm having a look at that. So that is the super excited. I mean, we love the way this looks, and I hope you guys love it too. Please give us your feedback, on YouTube or any of our community channels. Tell us what you think of this upgrade. We'd love to hear from you. So that's that delivered. And now we're going to go into the claims portal. So I'm going to now show you how we're progressing with the claims portal. So let me first log out here. And I'm going to basically just use the same app. So I think if you follow what Itheum's been doing, Itheum is multi-chain. And we don't have multiple apps. We have a single app called the DataDex. And it is smart enough to know which chain you're connected to, and then it can evolve to show features that are supported in that chain. So in the same app, I'm going to connect my Elrond wallet. You notice that it detects that it supports all wallets available in Elrond. So I'm going to use the DeFi wallet, and I'm going to log in here. And you'll notice it's the same UI, but certain things are now hidden from you or have this symbol which says that it's coming soon. That's because the DataDex is intelligent enough to know that I have logged in through the DevNet in Elrond, and certain contracts haven't been deployed, so it kind of blocks it out, but it shows you what's coming up, right? So this is something you can test right now. Head into the DevNet of Elrond, log in with your wallet, get some XEGold, which is the DevNet version of eGold, and you can test our claims portal right now. So we have hooked up in the DevNet. We actually have a faucet, which gives you free Itheum, and you can use this Itheum to play around with the different features in the DataDex. So in this case, we've actually hooked up the faucet to also airdrop claims at you as well. So you can actually test the claiming functionality. So let me test that here. So I'm basically grabbing some test Itheum on the DevNet. And you'll notice that once this gives me my free Itheum, It's also dropped me multiple claims. It's dropped me rewards, airdrops, and allocations. And I can claim these as well. So I'm actually claiming this on the Elrond DevNet. And you'll notice that I've basically taken my 10 airdrops now. And you see that I've actually claimed my 10 airdrops. I'm going to claim my rewards. Oops, let's try that again. Confirm. And it's claiming my rewards, and you should see that to go up to 97. So, highly encourage you guys to come and try this out. You're talking to our smart contracts, you're talking to the Elrond blockchain. This is effectively what's going to be in the mainnet. Now, at this point, I also again want to highlight what this thing is, right? What is the claims portal? Well, the claims portal is like a fundamentally core concept to Itheum, because Itheum is a bottom-up platform, and whatever you do in Itheum, as a community, you're going to get airdropped certain things. If you are helping us secure the community, you'll get airdrop rewards. If you're helping us grow the community, the products, you're increasing the amount of data that's available for trading within the community, you get airdrop rewards. And if you read our white paper, we have this thing called the data marketplace trading fee, which a certain percentage of that is given back to the community as well. So whatever you are going to be getting in terms of tokens, you come in here and you claim it. So we call this the nucleus of the Ethereum data DEX, because this is where everything is distributed out to the different parties involved. So very core concept. It's a very complex smart contract because it's effectively holding funds. And we've actually completely completed this, and you can actually test it out now. So I'm going to now, just one more thing. You can even see your claims history. So by clicking up here, you can see a history of all your claims. And if a certain sort of claim failed, it shows an X up there. So you can click through it and it takes you to the transaction history. And you'll notice, so, okay, this failed because the smart contract was paused at that stage, probably for a maintenance that we were doing to it. So that's the claims portal in the DevNet. I'm just going to, let me keep that open and I'll talk about what's coming up next. Now, the item on our roadmap spoke about what's the mainnet release, okay? And a lot of people are waiting for this. So we have completed the smart contract. We have actually got it audited. We have completed community testing, active community testing. We had internal testing as well as community testing. And the first thing I want to highlight is that something we are super proud of, right? So our first smart contract audit came back with a 8.3 score, which we were happy with, but we wanted to get it 100%, right? This was the first contract we were writing in Elrond. And this was a very critical contract, like I explained. So we actually took the time to get it re-audited. And I'm so happy to say our re-audit came back with a 10 out of 10 security score. This kind of blew us away. We were so happy. Full credit to to Damien in our team as well, who's been working very hard from writing the Elrond smart contracts. This is a huge achievement. So very happy to say that we have a 10 out of 10 score when it comes to the smart contract that's powering the claims portal. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we're coming out of our security audits phase. We are obviously very happy with the security audit, and we're doing a final round of testing before we push it out fully onto mainnet. The final round of testing is basically testing certain variations of the drops of the tokens. And once that's done, we're going to be pushing it all the way up to mainnet, and you're going to be able to log in with your wallets on Elrond mainnet and to do your claims. If you got any claims, you'll see it there and you can claim it straight into your wallet. Now, the other reason we took so long with this smart contract is because we wrote it. We really wanted to set the standard of how open source is done, specifically on Elrond, right? So we have taken an incredible amount of effort to document, an incredible amount of effort to write a test harness, a test framework, to look at test coverage, to write detailed architecture documents, deployment scripts. And we have created this standard where now we can literally write contracts really quick and put it into the Datadex. So we took our time to do this because we knew if we get the framework right, we can really speed up all the contracts that we are going to deliver in the next few months. So check it out if you're into coding. Head over to our GitHub. We're pretty active on GitHub, and check it out yourself. So that is the claims portal. Finally, there's something that I want to cover again on the topics of the claims portal and the testing that's happened behind the scenes. Now, it was our first contract on Elrond that we did, so we wanted to make sure we get it right. It was a contract that holds some sort of funds as well, so we wanted to make sure it's tested right. So we had a two-tier testing approach. The first was an internal testing where the Itheum team internally rigorously tests the claims portal, but we wanted to take it to community. So we launched the Rumble in the Data Jungle, which we announced was a community testing round. And we encouraged people to come into our Discord and put their hands up to test our software. And we said that, listen, if you do this, you're going to really become part of the Itheum team, right? And we had a very prestigious role called the Alpha OG role in our Discord. And the Alpha OGs are effectively the people we go to when we hit community testing and we say, listen, we've got something new. We want you to test. You test it. You tell us what you think of it. They're able to give us feedback. They're able to tell us how to improve it. So they form a very important group of people from our community that is part of our deployment lifecycle. So I want to take this opportunity to thank our Alpha OGs because they were fundamentally one of the reasons why we were able to iterate so quick and get a 10 out of 10 security score. So Yamadolia, Rainbow Naji, James Eagle, Skit, Babaja, WFGP, Alex Lavu, Jamings Corner, and Bam. Guys and girls, thank you so much, right? You guys are our Alpha OGs. You're in our Discord. You're very active. And we really appreciate the amount of work that you've done for us for the claims portal. But moving into our next iterations, our product, our roadmap, our technology, you will play a key part to this. Now, to the other community members, we really encourage you to join. Itheum is a community project, right? We are so ambitious in what we're trying to do. The only way we can do this is if a community comes together and pushes Itheum from the bottom up. And Alpha OG is a very prestigious role. And why is it a significantly prestigious role is because when we do things like our NFT minting and our pre-mint, guess who is going to be the first in line to be whitelisted? It's going to be our most active community members, nobody else. Our communities are the first who are going to be earning the right to pre-mint. So Alpha OGs are going to be the first in line for our testing. They're going to be first in line for our pre-minting and everything. So I really encourage community members, please join our Discord, get involved, help out, be as good as these guys and girls who are daily in our AMAs. They know our product. They're asking us questions. They're giving us incredible opinions and ideas. And we really want to grow this Alpha OG sort of program. So we welcome you to come and join this. Now, the second thing is you notice that Itheum launched the bounty program. Again, this is a community-driven program, right? We want adoption to be bottom up. And whatever you do in Itheum, when you come into our Discord, specifically our Discord, and you are active, you will be noticed. You will be earning badges. You will be earning roles. And everything you do is going to increase your chances to be the first in line whenever we do anything, whenever we drop anything, you will be the first in line. We have to really get this bottom-up community momentum, and I couldn't emphasize this enough. So join our Discord and, be the first amongst everybody else to be part of Itheum's revolution. So that's the Alpha OG part of things. Now, we're almost done. I know this is a bit of a longer town hall, and it's because it's the first of the new quarter, and I really wanted to make sure we cover everything. Next, I'm going to talk about what's coming up. So we looked at what we've delivered. We've done demos. We've looked at the importance of being a community member in Itheum and Alpha OG and getting the Alpha OG role and, taking part in bounty programs and really earning exclusive rights to do things before anybody else in the Itheum's community. So we've talked about that. Now we're going to talk about what's coming up. So in Q4, which is we're heading into Q4 very soon. Actually, I should clarify that. So Q3 is the entire September as well. So Q4 starts in October. So next month, we have some really interesting things coming up. Now, I'm going to cover it at a high level. Probably in the next Tech Town Hall, we'll go into the specifics, but we've already started working on a lot of these things. The first, very exciting, is an NFMe Genesis NFT drop. Now, we've reached the stage where we're comfortable with our tech. We're comfortable with retail products like the Gamer Passport. And now we need to bring it all into metaverse identity platform, which is NFMe. So we're going to be doing an NFMe Genesis pre-mint. As I had mentioned, if you want to start getting ready for this pre-mint, you want to be the first in line, it's going to go to our loyal community members. So join our Discord, get active, try to get that Alpha OG role. But yeah, we'll be announcing the specifics of this pre-mint very soon. The next thing we're working on is a decentralized identity and reputation system. Now, the NFTs in Itheum are soul-bound, and we have spoken about this quite heavily. Eventually, anybody can log into the Datadex and mint their NFMe ID, which is a soul-bound version of it. So for that to work, soul-bound requires a robust reputation and identity system, because if you create soul-bound, in other words, non-transferable NFTs, you need methods to ensure that it's Sybil resistant. In other words, the same person doesn't try to mint multiple identities. We need things like community recovery in case you lose one of your wallets. So we have created a way to do this, a standard on how to do this, right? Effectively, how to do decentralized identity and reputation. And that's what sits behind the NFMe ID. So the cool 3D sort of metaverse avatar you see is just the front end. What's behind it is actually a smart contract ecosystem that's doing identity and reputation. So we're working on the part one of this. And the next is something that actually our team's already actively working on right now is we're creating a real world trial of our data coalition DAO. So I showed you the Gamer Passport data. We've got 100 plus gamers. We're getting really valuable data. So now we got to work out how do we bring this data in and trial out data coalition DAO schemes and technologies. So we don't want to wait until later on in our roadmap when we have data coalition DAOs. We want to try out the idea of DAO-based governance of bulk data trading right now. So we're going to do this real world trial. Again, if you're interested in DAOs and you want to be in like the cutting edge, the bleeding edge of how data is going to be traded in the future through the concept of data coalitions, come into our Discord, ping one of our CMs and say, listen, I love DAOs. Can I somehow participate in your real world trial? Remember, every time you do this and you earn reputation and you earn roles like Alpha OG, you are effectively now embedded into the Itheum ecosystem, and you will be the first in line for a lot of things. So highly prestigious community roles that you can earn. So we're working on that. And of course, on Q1 2023, around early next year, we do our actual NFMe Genesis drop. So that was the pre-mint. This is our mint. And we wrap up our decentralized identity and system. And once we have this and once we have that, effectively NFMe as a metaverse identity protocol is ready for mainnet release, and we can actually push that out. And then we have some other real cool stuff coming up around NFT royalties, a client-side SDK that lets other apps utilize Etheum's identity, reputation, data trading mechanisms as a protocol from within their app. So they can effectively have a single button that says log in with NFMe ID, and they can immediately include reputation, personalization, and all these cool things that are based on personal data into their apps directly. We're going to then branch out and support data streams, effectively the ability to stream out data. So instead of just a single data set, to stream out a longitudinal data, which is quite critical as well. Data NFT gets its final upgrade at this point here. And then here is when we actually bring it all together. So you'll notice in our roadmap, we have different components. In our final version, or sorry, our V2 version of the Gamer Passport, we bring an FME ID, we bring identity, we bring reputation, we bring the data licensing, and we bind it all together into a single platform. And you would have realized that we actually talk a lot about these sort of passports, right? We're talking about the Gamer Passport, the shopping passport, the health passport. What this passport is basically a binding of all of Etheum's key technologies, which takes you from your real world today, where your data is like literally taken away from you, into this world where you can use one of these passports and have full control of your data, at the same time earn it and trade it. So when we bind everything together is when we create these sort of passports in different industries. We're starting with gaming, health is next. We're working on shopping, but theoretically you can take Etheum's technology and apply to any vertical. So we are a horizontal platform. You can apply any vertical to it. That's another power of Itheum as well. And finally, on our roadmap, we've got a TBD. We haven't quite decided where these would fit in, but we'll be working on all of this, so you can cover all this as well. So that's quite a lot. I really wanted to spend this time to walk you through all the work we've been doing. We've been very busy, as you can see, but we are laser focused on what's coming up next. We have very structured on how we get things out to production. We have delivered almost everything that we have said we're going to deliver, and we know exactly how we're working. So again, I emphasize community members. We'd love for you to participate. If you are a developer, if you're a tester, if you just love tech, reach out to us on Discord and earn those really important roles like Alpha OG. So that's all I've got to talk about in terms of Itheum. But I just want to take just a few minutes to talk about something that I'm personally very excited about. Now, I'm obsessed with technology. I'm obsessed with Ethereum ever since I first discovered Ethereum in 2017. The concept of a world computer, which ticks over every 15 seconds or so, the state of the world in a decentralized, immutable way, was just mind-blowing. And this is what hooked me onto Web3 tech. And this is something I have been personally following for a very long time. Which is basically the migration of Ethereum from proof of stake, proof of work to proof of stake. So the merge is coming up in September, and I think regardless of which blockchain you're interested in, whether it's Elrond or Avalanche or BSC, we have to appreciate and acknowledge this amazing news that's coming up this month, right? And what I'd like to point out is this merge is going to be done without stopping the blockchain. Now, a blockchain is immutable and it can never be stopped. And Ethereum is a beast, right? It's doing on average, 1.2 million transactions per day. This is by far the biggest chain out there, right? And up to now, everyone's biggest criticism of Ethereum was that, its energy consumption is through the roof, thanks to proof of work. And with the first step in this process, moving to proof of stake, its energy consumption is, down 99.95%. So already no one can now bring up this excuse that a blockchain is a polluting industry. This is a first step. Now, it's incredible to think that they are literally going to make this transition in real time. And I think if you are into technology, and you should really appreciate the hard work that's gone into this. So there's wonderful things that Ethereum does. They got a great community. They got a very cool decentralized way of working. They got different distributed teams doing different things, and they somehow bring it together, and they're able to coordinate these things at a global scale in real time without any downtime. And I think that is something that I am in awe of. And things like this is we take inspiration from in Itheum as well. We're building something that's only in the Genesis version, right? It's so early. And when we are successful, we're going to have these sort of problems when it comes to scale, or when we're going to have many people using our protocol. And then if we want to upgrade to certain things, the ability to do it without any disruption is something that is admirable, right? If you look at what Ethereum's doing. So just wanted to leave that with you because this is something I think we can all learn from and appreciate. So let me stop sharing my screen. All right, everybody. So it's quite a bit of a long tech town hall this time. I hope you enjoyed that. The final words I'll leave with you is thank you for being with us, right? Like we have a super community. We get some really incredible people asking us some incredible things, lots of support on our channels. Ethereum works very hard. I think you guys are seeing the kind of announcements we are always working on. And yeah, I hope this is transparent to you. Now, the other thing I want you all to know is if you look at our socials, I had somebody actually ping me today and say, you guys are always announcing things. Like, how many things are you working at the same time? I want you to understand that we are very structured in what we are doing. We are announcing multiple things, but they all stem from the same protocol. The different passports we're talking about, as I described, all stem from this product singular protocol that we're building. So even though look on the outside that we are doing a lot of things, we're actually doing it in a very structured way. So with that, thank you for being with us on this journey, and I look forward to updating you all in our next town hall. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a good day wherever you are in the world.